Welcome back to another video, guys. So yeah, today I'm just getting sort of small jobs done again on another weekend on the Easter bank holiday. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing is I've already gone and checked on the white car for the battery. Obviously, so it was saying low on the car, but I've checked it. It's actually quite healthy on the actual battery, because it has, like, a lot of these newer batteries have like a green light. Obviously saying it's okay, and then a black light with a lightning bolt that says like it needs to be recharged, and then obviously red if you need to replace it. So that one's okay, even though it says it's low, so that's fine. I've got the battery out of Rita, and this one I bought a few years ago now. I can't remember exactly when I bought it. It's probably, well, it's got to be less than 3 years at least that I bought this. So it's got a 5-year guarantee on it, but the light was just ever faint on the green. So it didn't say recharge, but I wanted to do it anyway. So I picked myself up a little charger, and then we're just like trickle charging this this battery basically, so I don't have to replace another battery. It's all good. So once that's gone off, that'll be fully done, and that's one less job to worry about. Then all I've been doing for the last sort of 10 minutes or so, I've actually been working on like the interior. So it was a little bit dusty and a little bit cruddy, because like I say, I don't think I've ever cleaned this car other than when I painted it. So we've used some of that turtle wax, like interior foam spray with a brush thing on it, just on the seats, just to get rid of the that sort of, I don't know, it was like a smell of damp almost in the car, where it had been sitting in the garage in Deal for a couple of years. It was quite mouldy in that garage, so it's sort of, the smell was just in there. It hadn't actually taken over the car, luckily, because I managed to clean them off in time, but the seats were just a little bit funky and the interior smelt a little bit. So yeah, both of these have had a good clean with the with that. Basically, you won't be able to see it too well, but they've come up quite nicely. They're not perfect, but they look a bit nicer, and it smells a bit nicer in here as well. And then the other thing we've done, I don't know if you can see it at all, the dash and all the trim, the steering wheel looks absolutely amazing with the auto glim interior and exterior trim. What's it called? It's like a, yeah, it's like a vinyl and rubber, basically restorer. It's like a cleaner restorer, rubber care. Yeah, so it's that one there basically. Vinyl and rubber care, conditions and protects interior and exterior trim. So that's actually quite a good product. I've actually quite enjoyed using it. I've used it on like these little bits of rubber trims here, the trims around the windows, the trims around the doors. It just makes them feel a bit more, well, a little bit newer basically, because obviously these are quite old now. So yeah, I haven't used it on this bit yet, but these bits have been done. The other one's been done. I need to sort out that little bit of trim that's flicked up there. I might just stick a bit of glue down on it for now, and then that should be okay. Yeah, and like I say, it's the dashboard's come up really nice and glossy on the black bit on the top. It's got rid of all that sort of paint dust that was actually sitting around after I sprayed the car. We've done all the glove box, all inside as well, and it smells really nice as well now, so that's really cool. So I'm quite happy with that. It weren't too expensive, and it transforms the look of the car on the inside, so that's quite good. Then the only other issue I've had is where this roof was welded up, and obviously I did all that body filler back in the summer. I have had a couple of leaks just from where the weather was so cold, and a little bit of the Bondo has actually cracked along the seam here, but the roof is so flimsy. I don't know if you can see that on there, but this roof is really, look, there you go. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It actually if you push it a bit more, it actually bows back in. So at some point I do want to put a brace of some sheet metal stuck in top of the roof here, up inside there, and tuck it in there and create like a rib going across the front and back there, just so, because obviously this used to have a sunroof in it. The electric sunroof used to sit back there, and it used to obviously brace itself inside those rails along here, and making the roof a lot more sturdy. But obviously we've lost all that, and that's where that roof panel was. So yeah, we've got a small leak, nothing crazy. So what I've tried to do, my first attempt will be, is I've actually tried some super glue, because it is only pinholes. So I've dotted all this super glue just in the pinholes. This isn't obviously the proper way to do it or anything like that. And like I say, it's not a show card, so don't worry guys. It's just a temporary fix until till the weather's better, and then I ideally want to be painting this car again and getting a nice layer of filler on here, and like I say, put the ribs on, so that'll probably crackle the paint again, but it's just temporarily. Temporary. Yeah, it's just temporary. So yeah, don't worry about it. And like I say, the worst bit here was this crack along the back here. I was thinking of using some bonding putty, but I thought that might just split again, and then obviously I'd have to paint it again, which I didn't want to do any. I don't want to do any painting while it's this cold, because it won't obviously bond very well. So I've just gone over it with some super glue. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, it was never immaculate in the first place, but you can only really see it if you really stare at it. So yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, that's just drying now, so that's getting that done. The only other thing, I don't know if I showed you in the last video, probably did, cleaned all the glass up, cleaned all the inside with some like fairy liquid in a bottle. We've taken off this trim here, and then all I want to work on at some point is I want to get the locking mechanism done with the fob. So that'll be done. I want to get this rear wiper out, so that's going to be coming off. Get this off, get that rear light off, and then I'm going to pack it from the back and like tiger seal it in, and then it'll just be like a skim of body filler basically along that, and then this tailgate will be getting painted. Get those trims off and basically put my new ones on. So I might, at the minute, I'm going to stick some glue down on this, get this sorted, because that's lifted up, it's actually broken the clip, and you normally break all the clips if you take the whole thing off. So what I will do as temporary again, I'm going to stick some glue just on there, put some weight on it and let it dry overnight, and that should be good. So yeah, let's do that now. We'll get some glue. I've got some of this industrial grade super glue. So it's pretty good stuff. It worked on my wing mirror, because the wing mirror cover was actually snapped off when I first got it. So I put some of this on, just put some quick clamps on it, and it worked really well. Yeah, so let's give this a go.
Little.
Alright, so hopefully that'll dry nicely. Like I said, I just need to find something to weigh it down in here. Torque wrench might work quite well. It's quite a heavy object. Yeah, there we go. So let's put that on there. Don't worry about that, it's all dust. So yeah, there we go, we've got a bit of weight on it now. That should hold it in place nicely. Put this cover underneath it. Alright, there we go guys, so we've got a brick and that. Hopefully that won't fall. Should be all good. And then, yeah, my next job, let's say I want to... What do I want to get on with now? Oh, this, yes. So we're going to get this sorted out. We're going to take those parts off, get these off, and get those badges off. I might give this boot a little clean as well because it's not too pretty. So yeah, let's get this off. Let's get this arms off. So we got, by the looks of it, 3 bolts there. 1, 2, 3. We've got the electrics there for that. We've got the rear light there. That looks like it pops off nicely or pushes through that way and disconnects from there. I did actually cut the harness here for the boot. Just snipped it off because I wanted to get that grommet in, but I'm going to need to get that off again now. So let's take that off. There we go, and then what we do is we use this harness here. This is the harness originally for the other lock-in mechanism. So this will control the central lock-in for the rear lock. So I've got plenty of cable there, and then all I've got to do is wire that into the original that's on that. Should have a, might just have to cut that open, but yeah, that'll be for another day anyway, so I'll just pull that out so that reminds me to do that. And then we should be good on the fob then. That can lock the original lock up in there, which is just there. It's just a little bar. I don't know if you can see that there. So yeah, that bar there, that bar just moves your lock, and then that way you've got a lock that doesn't need a key. Yeah, so let's get this off. How does this come out? Probably going to be one of those weird connectors that you push and pull at the same time kind of business. Let's have a look. No, that's not. How's that coming off? Let's have a look, guys. So let's put you here for a sec. So I just needed a bit of a pull on that one, and then that one looks like that clip comes out nice and easy. Let's take clip, looks like it slides, there we go, nice. And then tuck that back there, that one back there. And then we just need to take that wiper arm off, so we'll move you let's put you there for a sec. That's probably a 10. Yeah, that's a 10. There we go, guys. So yeah, 10mm spanner on here. That does the bolts on here. Right, that's one. Now, because I'm holding the camera and a socket in the other hand, I've got a feeling this plate is going to want to just drop on the floor, so don't worry, I don't think there's anything below it apart from the rear tailgate, so it might just clip that on its way down. but nothing we can do about that. Right, and there we go guys, so that should come out now. So I think I have to take the arm off at this end, so let's put that back down, and then I believe if you flick that cover up, there you go, yep, so that releases the nut on top there, and we get our, no, that's, so we need a 13, swap that over. So a 13mm socket. Oh, might have to hold the arm for this, so okay, that came out nice and easy. Right, so we've got that arm off now, so all we've got to do is basically get this this wiper pushed through, and then I might have to cut the grommet that goes around the rear wiper arm that has the rear washer fluid stalk on it as well. So I'm just trying to get this bolt off, and then this one. Right, so now that's out, we now have this to get off. So we've got the rear washer bung taken off there. That's actually got the sprayer nozzle that attached to the line that goes inside the car, but obviously that'll be disconnected, so we just leave the line inside the boot and that'll be fine. Put that aside. So now I've got a nice gaping hole. Like I say, we will just stick something behind it and then just Bondo across both of them basically, and then we'll get it all sanded down and painted at a later date, but that's fine for now. It's not going anywhere. So that's the harness for that. So that one can be tucked back here somewhere out the way. Obviously it can be left there, and then what we should have, I've never actually taken one of these out, so I'm guessing it can't be that difficult. Famous last words. Okay, so it's just got some clips you have to push in as you let it up, and it should be ready to come out. I don't know what's holding it there. Oh, there we go. There we go, guys. So yeah, one rear light that can go out. Probably could do something with this in the future. I could actually mount it like here, have it on the inside as like a centre reverse light, a centre brake light, sorry. Could have it just actually mounted here. Could do something with that. That would mount quite nicely there. That way, whatever suits. And then we could just run the wiring actually down there, or from the rear light, but yeah, we'll save that, keep that for a later date at some point. Right, so that's quite good. Right, and that's about it really. Yeah, and then we'll get those badges off basically. So with these badges, if you want to take these kind of badges off at the back without damaging them too much, you're going to need like these, well, they're like interior trim pullers, like clip removers. So obviously these are more flexible and less damageable than like a screwdriver. Obviously, if you're trying to protect your paint as well, you don't want these obviously damaging your paintwork as well, if you're obviously worried about it. But obviously we're not worried about it on this because that'll be repainted. But yeah, these are a good idea for little bits of trim. They work really well, good leverage on them. So yeah, we'll get this removed and go from there. Right, and yeah, like I say, there's the light covers actually all removed, so that's good. And then I'm just working on these trims, trying to get those off. So yeah, shall come back when I've done the majority of it.
This is a Ryan Little production.
So yeah, one badge off, and I managed to save all the clips on that one. So yeah, we'll save this badge for if the other one ever gets destroyed. But yeah, it's not too bad. Like I So I just want to swap mine out for the black ones, but we're going to take them off anyway to be painted. So that's that one, and then next one we want to do. Yeah, so there we go, guys. So yeah, that's, well, it's a bit chipped at the minute because obviously, luckily, this badge actually survived because that was on the side that the car actually got hit, which is on this side here. Well, that's interesting. Just found that out. So obviously, yeah, that's the old badge, and then that's the badge that I want to use. Obviously, the like you can see, the font is actually different. So this is the original font that was actually used on the Renault badge on the other side of the car, and I just find this one just doesn't look very nice. Yeah, I prefer the retro look of this one basically over this one. So, and then obviously painted black, it looks a lot nicer. The only thing I have noticed on these Phase 3 boots, I thought this would be either interchangeable or this one might just be glued on, but it's not. It actually has clips on that. So, as I've lined this up, it has only actually got one clip, but I was thinking of just bonding this on anyway. If I line that up with one of the holes, as you can see there, that's the second hole for the original Clio badge. So that one there goes into the C, but doesn't quite reach the end one here. So what we have to do is obviously we have to fill this hole, and we'll just use some, well, I'm going to use some glue on these or some of that like number plate foam, and stick that on the back, something that's quite thin and low profile. Yeah, so we'll stick this badge in the original hole. That'll clip in nicely, and yeah, we'll have the old badge back on. Get rid of all this glue residue. Just use some white spirit and a bit of heat source maybe. That might get rid of the majority of it, but it don't seem too stubborn like that. You can actually peel some of it off with your fingers, so that's not too bad. Yeah, and that's about it really, guys. So like I say, I'm just trying to get the odd job done. We'll put these badges away safely, put that down there. Hopefully that's tacked in place already, but I'll leave that a little bit longer. And yeah, that's about it for today, guys. Again, just small little simple updates. We've got the white car being worked on Monday. It's Saturday today, and hopefully that'll have the brand new alternator fitted by Andy again. And I also bought a auxiliary belt and the pulley that comes for the alternator that obviously attaches to the car from that part. Obviously it doesn't make sense not to replace the alternator without the belt, so I had to get the belt ordered. Had an absolute faff with that. Someone signed for it at work and didn't actually give it to me, and then it's bank holiday Friday, so I couldn't go and get it. So luckily we actually managed to get into the building. It was signed for, and it was actually sitting on the warehouse floor on a shelf somewhere. So luckily managed to go and get that. And then now I'm just waiting on Andy to come down and he can install it basically, and then we'll have a working car, because I had to give the hire car back today. So I've got no car for a couple of days, which is really annoying. But I don't really need to go anywhere. I've done everything we need to do, and like I say, I've got plenty of work on my plate with this thing. So yeah, next job will be to clean this boot up, get rid of all the residue from the badges here, so that's all flush, and then just give this a light scuff and basically get this ready for paint. Do the inside as well, because I like to paint both sides. We painted over that last time, but then just cover up the actual lock. So yeah, I'll probably take these off, scuff it up here, because this is where it likes to rust on these bits, because there's like little like what do you call it, like drain holes for this rear trim, because this rear trim can get really scummy. I don't know if you can see it inside there. Gets a little bit scummy inside of that part there, and then the water obviously naturally leaks through here. This is the first areas for it to rust, so it's not that bad. I have actually seen some where this section is actually missing. I think there's one on eBay at the minute. I might actually, if I can find it, I'll put a picture here now. So yeah, that's what it looks like if you don't treat it and look after it. So this will get treated and looked after. There's one there that's slightly going, and here as well is slightly going. It's only very minor surface, and then there's a little scratch there, and they can go on this edge here. Obviously that's where another drain hole slightly is. But generally it's not too bad, and luckily it is in the same colour. It just needs updating, so there won't be some funky blue under it or some other colour that these came in. We're gonna take the, well, it's a shame really. I'd like to have kept something like this because it's quite nice, because I am partly Welsh, so that would have been nice to keep, but that sticker's a bit tatty for my liking. We're going to get some nice stickers, decals from my own company, so we'll put them on at some point anyway. It's not a priority. We'll get the glass cleaned, get all the trim cleaned, and then like I say, we'll just put a plate in here. We will cover those holes up, and then we'll just go over it with filler, do a few layers, skim it bit by bit, and then that'll be nice and strong and nice and decent. And yeah, we'll have a nice smooth boot. I don't really like the look of these with the light and that part as well. We're going to get the boot floor done, but I do have something in mind for this car I do want to actually get done, which will be hopefully a little while down the line yet, but so you have to tune in for that. And but that's obviously something I want to do before I paint the floor. So if you can guess what it is, leave it down in the comments below what we're going to be doing. Yeah, and that's about it really, guys. There's not an awful lot amount I can do. You can see this glue's actually starting to stick now, so it's just it does damage the paint, obviously being super glue a little bit. It goes a bit misty, but hopefully that will stop the car actually leaking any more water into it. It was just dripping slightly coming through the roof. So what I'll need to do as well, where obviously I put that blank in for the sunroof, the water got between it and it's actually pushed the seal between them two, and it was actually tiger sealed up, so it's actually that strong that it's actually forced it out just by freezing. So what we'll do is I'm going to try a few other sealants and glues, and there's one that I've got in mind. There's like I think it's an Everbuild one, and you can use it on metal and things like that. And when we had our drain gutters done, it's like a two-part like epoxy kind of spray. Like one's in a spray can, one's in like a glue bottle, and it's like a two-part, like I say, epoxy resin almost, and it almost instantly sticks together. So I'm gonna stick some Tiger Seal in there. We're gonna use the Tiger Seal as the seam sealer for all these parts at the same time, because the problem is with that Tiger Seal, you can only really use it once because it goes rock solid in the tube, unless you start cutting the tube in half after you want to use it, because it is quite expensive stuff. I think it's about £11 a tube. So we're going to get all this prepped at the same time. We're going to get all this ground down, cleaned up, ready for paint, ready for welding as well. So we'll get all this sorted out, and then we can Tiger Seal all the seams at the same time. We can Tiger Seal this up here, and we can Tiger Seal all this section down here in the corner of the boot floor. So I've actually used it before, so it's really good stuff, that Tiger Seal. I've used it on the floor where there was some grommets loose, and it's actually sealed up plates in the floor. And I think that's it. I don't think we need to use that Tiger Seal anywhere else. So, but we will use a lot of it here on the seams. Like I say, there's quite big seam lines along the back of the rear lights, along the boot floor here, and yeah, just generally clean the the car up basically and just stop any water getting into all those little areas where it could actually rust a bit more. Right, so a bit of update there for you guys. So what I've been doing, I've actually managed to work on the tailgate this evening. So I've come back out, we've still got the battery on charge. And then, yeah, so what I've been doing is working on this tailgate. We've managed to get the rear light out, as you saw. The rear wiper, the rear light, and then I managed to get this bit of trim that was off here because that was really grimy. Just cleaned it all up with some white spirit and some fairy liquid. Got the debadged the back, and we've done that side as well. So we've got the other badges to go on over there. We'll give them a lick of paint before they go back on. Then all I need to do is basically prepare this this boot lid for paint, basically. Right, so all I've done is I've managed to trim off the rest of the wiring off this, and then all I've got to do is splice into those two cables there. So we've got the purple and like a creamy sort of beigey colour connector. So that splices into the rest of the loom, which goes down inside the car and then comes down to here. So like I said, we said purple and beige, so there's two colours there. Yeah, so I'm going to splice my two cables into them and then give it a test and see if it works. If not, might have to reverse the polarity of it. So yeah, we'll give that a go and hopefully that locks the boot then. Right, so it's all wired up. Basically, yeah, we're just going to test it now. I've wired the battery up. Yeah, spade connected the two cables here, so that's the loom that I put in from the central lock-in. Let's give this a go. Right, so that's unlocked. There we go, so that works. Fingers crossed. No. So that's not working. Let's see if we can turn it around. Right, now I've rotated them around. We'll try it the other way. Just give it a go. Don't know if that's going to help. It might not. The motor might be gone. No, so I can't actually hear that motor working at all. It's going to need a little bit more work than I thought it was. I thought it'd be quite easy just to plug and play and wire into that the original one, but it doesn't seem to want to have it. So I have got a couple of motors knocking about, so I might be able to reuse them and stick them instead of that the original one. I did ideally want to use the original one because they're just a bit better built. So yeah, I'll swap them out and we'll go from there. Right guys, so a bit of an update for you. So after I've just tested all that wiring and trying to make sure it actually works, I've now found what the actual issue was. So for whatever reason, I have no idea why, as I've pulled the loom out of the car itself, the bit that should be completely untouched, that's running inside the tailgate, there is split cables actually inside the loom for the cables that we need. So I'm a bit miffed as to why it's cut. There's another cut there in the black one. So yeah, this loom is a bit iffy, so I'm not too sure why that's happened. But so what I've done is I've got rid of that whole tailgate harness because that's completely unreliable, can't be having that. And then what I've done is I've used the original cables coming out of the car, so they're still there, spliced it into my own two cables that were from the old tailgate, run them up through the tailgate here and along, and then obviously I've got to clean all this up, run some electrical tape around it, but I've just been testing it and it works absolutely fine. So yeah, we've got a new solenoid there, that works fine, just got to mount it, put it on the pin, and we're good to go. So yeah, now I actually got central lock-in on tailgate, so that actually now locks, and that's just one less thing to tick off and is more secure now. So yeah, now we should have a locking tailgate that works on the fob, all good to go. Why that wiring harness was all messed up, but it was, and for whatever reason, obviously then it wouldn't work because they were cut open. So yeah, we've got it all working, it's all good to go, and yeah, now I've just got to actually mount the thing, so I'll do that tomorrow, and hopefully that's the rest of the issues solved really now, for now. So yeah, we'll get cracking on tomorrow. So yeah, it's the next day, guys, and can't remember how I left it. Yeah, we'd finished up the wiring basically for the rear central locking boot part, so that's all done. We took out that bad harness that was actually in there, that's over there in that corner. Yeah, so we've wired this up quite crudely. It's all on the fuse and everything like that, so that's all fine, so don't worry about that. And then that's all electrical taped up into the original grommet. That's going to go back up in there. That'll keep it watertight. This will go back into the tailgate, but I was just, like I say, testing it. And then it runs up here inside the tailgate, along here. And then, as you can see, what I've done is I've taped up the connections and then used the original mounting bracket there just to hold it all in place so the cables aren't moving about. And then what we've got here is, so I've used the original pin that's just there, if I can get a torch. So you got the original pin there, and then that was modified, that was cut down by about 30mm, and then I just refolded the end and stuck it back into the that's back on there in the locking motor, and then that just basically now locks. So that's all it is, simple pin, and that's a good way of being able to lock your boot on the central locking key fob. That's just a universal kit online, so I'll show you that now. So obviously that's now locked, and then unlocked is like that, and then that's now unlocked. So yeah, nice easy fix, didn't cost much. So yeah, nice easy fix, wasn't too bad in the overall grand scheme of things. The only thing I do need to sort out at some point is the driver's door now. The actual locking mechanism isn't getting any power to it, but I can lock it with a key, so that's not a problem. So I've got the passenger door and the rear door is all locked with the central locking fob, so that's not too bad. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tidy up all these cables, put them all back, and then I'm going to take that battery back off and give it another charge again, because it only had a few hours charge, so I'm going to put it on charge again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and clean the white car, just give it a quick wash off, get rid of any of the crap that was left on it, like you saw from one of the previous videos. It wasn't looking too good, so I'm going to give it a quick wash off. I've got some detailer, just some like turtle wax, cheap stuff, just to give it a once over for the first wash anyway, at least. And then I've got some decent Maguire stuff as well, so we'll go over that at a further date. So what else might I do? I've got those window sills that I still need to get done on the white car, so that's those. They need to be put on, so I could do that at the same sort of time, or I might do that first. And then the only other thing we need to do is I need to get the my key fob sorted out. So when I went and got the car sorted out for the MOT, they kindly returned it for me. They kindly returned it for me with a chip, a nice crack in the end of the key there, which was nice of them. So I've got to get another one on top of the one that I did buy to replace the second key. So I've now got to sort this out on top of it, because I don't really like having stuff like that. Things like that bug me, so I don't like having broken stuff like that. So yeah, we'll sort another key out at some point. So yeah, I'm going to sort out those rubber seals now. It's a bit difficult to show you on there because it's on the driveway and I've got my back against the wall, so it's quite hard to hold the camera there and do it. So yeah, I'll be back in a sec when it's all done. There we go, guys. So yeah, that's all done. Tied up all the cables, grommets back in, looking much smarter now. So that's all done. Like I say, we've tested the lock, that's all done. Battery's now fully charged, so that's complete. And then I've just been out washing the white car, just getting the majority of the rubbish off. It hasn't done too great a job because there is like grease and some like iron like fallout basically on the car. So I won't show you that yet because it was just literally done with what I could hear. I just had a bit of that detailer left, and I just rinsed the rest off with the with the hose out there basically, and that's all I could do. The majority of it's all at my parents' house, so I have to do a full detail then because I do want to do a full clay bar, polish, wax, and I've got some sealant down there as well, so we'll do the whole lot. But for today, that's fine. Just giving it a wash off. It's made it look a lot better. It's just got the majority of the actual the rubbish off the car. And that is about it, really, guys. There's not much else I can do for now. Like I say, I do want to try and just get this sort of tackled. I've had a bit of a problem with. Because it's the bank holiday, the compressor has been delayed. Should have came yesterday, and now it might only come Tuesday. So that's one thing that's slowed me down, because I wanted to use that for trying to use this to get the seam sealer. Also, having no car as well, I can't get about. So, well, I have two cars, but neither of them are functional at the minute. So. Yeah, I'm just waiting till tomorrow, obviously, to wait for Andy to come down to fix the alternator, and he can do that. So yeah, other than that, I'm just sort of waiting in limbo at the minute. I'm just waiting to get things done, and then the welder should be with me hopefully Tuesday as well, and then by the next weekend we can make a good start on this, getting this all welded and seam sealed up. Ready to go basically. So yeah, like I say, I'm just waiting on that compressor because I want to get some of the air compressor tools. I think is it a die grinder, something like that. Basically, there's it looks like a Dremel tool basically that you get for compressors, and that's absolutely perfect for what I want to do because it's such a tight corner in here. Obviously, with a grinder or anything like that, it's very difficult to get that down in that very far corner, and that's exactly where I need to be. So I want to get one of those little die grinders, clean up all that area, get all this seam sealer off, and go from there basically. Just get a good start with that thing. Clean all this up with the die grinder and all up in the seams here. It's just a lot easier with something like that, and a lot more powerful. I have got like a little Dremel hobby tool, but it's not really designed for this kind of work, so I didn't really want to use it. So yeah, just waiting on that, and then there's what else do I need to do? I've cleaned all the inside. Yeah, it's just basically just trying to get these two cars back on the road really. Just working on it stage at stage, day by day and stage by stage. So yeah, just waiting on that. Can't think if there's anything else really. There's not really a lot else that can be done for now. No, I don't think there is. Don't think there is much else I can do. Like I say, I got the majority of the small little jobs I wanted to do. There are some bits I still want to buy. Obviously, I need to buy another one of these arms, but that's not really crucial right now. We're going to set the compressor up in this corner, clear out all this crap. Got an old PC case, that's all the rubbish, and then yeah, just clear it up in here, and then that should fit nicely under the bench. And then if it is too noisy, because that's what I was worried about, the noise of it in here, I might actually blank it off and build a little section around here and get some sound deadening, or even stick some of these on the inside, just some leftover mats basically, just to cushion some of the sound. I know it won't completely drown it out, but it's just something to obviously drown out, even if it reduces it by a third. You know, it's done its job, so it just helps in the long run, to make it a little bit quieter, because I'll imagine the amount I'm going to probably use it. If I do, I'll use it, you know, now and again, but in probably large amounts, probably quite a lot of the time. So it will constantly just be kicking in, because it's only a 24-litre tank, so it's going to be probably constantly refilling when I'm using it. So yeah, that's about it really, guys. So yeah, I can't really update you with much more other than that. Like I say, I'm just waiting on bits to come in. I'm waiting to get the car fixed, and then that makes me a bit more accessible to going down and get my tools and just little bits, you know, like the seam sealer and things like that. So I have to kind of put all on hold at the minute and just wait for things to sort of come together. Other than that, we're just waiting. So yeah, I'll try and tie all this video together. Hopefully it's not too long for you guys, but hopefully it's interesting at the same time. Just rambling on most of the time and getting stuff done. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we should have some big updates and things going on and things really moving and getting this to somewhere that I really want it to be, really. So yeah, so that's probably the end of the video. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you did like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Like I say, there is loads more coming, and it's just, well, it probably won't be never ending, because this is going to be a project car. It's just going to be something that I want to get done as soon as possible. My idea was to get it on track days this year. That doesn't look like it's probably going to happen unless I manage to get this all done by the end of the year. I might hit a few by the end of the year, because I do want to just still get it dialed in. It's still not dialed in, so that's what I was planning on doing over this time, but obviously we've been set back now with the actual crash. So once the crash damage is done and we got it dialed in, we can take it on track days and then actually enjoy it for what it was built for. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.